I'm truly humbled to be here tonight, and I thank you for inviting me to be here once again. I also want to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Camaragal, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. It's a shame for our country that it's taken over 200 years for that to become a standard part of our dialect. But I can't help but feel that tonight it's particularly important that it's incorporated into our proceedings, because honouring your past matters. And in the same way as here in Australia we stand and honour our First Nations people, whenever the story of the Armenian nation is told, it is important that we do not forget its history, and its history is never overlooked. We're incredibly lucky here in North Sydney to have the second largest Armenian Australian community in the country. And I am incredibly grateful to have been so welcomed by you and to have had the opportunity to both learn from you about your rich culture and to advocate and fight for the things that are important to you at our federal government level. For too long, for far too long, successive federal governments have lacked the courage and the integrity to call the events of 1915 for what they were. The systematic attempt by the Ottoman Empire to annihilate the Armenian population constituted attempted genocide. Yet 109 years on, we still often hear people refer to this time euphemistically as the Armenian question. Well, no more. Just as the diggers who were returning home at that time, and included my great-grandfather, had the courage to tell of what they witnessed, it's important that we, as the witnesses of today, continue to call for both an accounting of what happened then, while at the same time calling for an immediate end to the aggression Armenians continue to experience today. The attacks in September last year by the Azerbaijani forces on the citizens of the Nagorno and Karabakh region are again abhorrent and must be called out for what they are. Following a blockade that had lasted 9 months and saw over 120,000 Armenian residents denied access to essential goods and services, including life-saving medicines and healthcare, these actions again constitute an egregious breach of international human rights law. There is a knowledge that transcends cultures. It tells us that the truth is that those who fail to learn from and acknowledge the lessons of the past are doomed to repeat them. And I, like many of you here tonight, am sure continue to fear that the events of 1915 and what is happening now is actually inextricably linked. In 1915, our Anzacs witnessed the systematic destruction of livelihoods and cultural icons. They spoke of arrests, deportations, killings and torture, of the forced assimilation of Armenian women and children, with many pushed into servitude. Today, we witness the current actions of the Azerbaijani regime. Please know that as both one of your voices in Canberra and someone who holds your community with the highest of respects and the deepest of affection, I will continue to push today's Australian federal government to finally do what no government has yet done: recognise the genocide of 1915 and call for the immediate cessation of hostilities and the withdrawal of the Azerbaijani forces from Artsakh. We will remember and we will not stop fighting for the recognition the Armenian community deserves, for we are the generation who will not stand to see history repeat again. Thank you and God bless. Atsvats Orne.